Good morning and welcome to St Mary's Church in Watton in Norfolk. Now today I'm here to visit the final resting place of a 14-year-old girl who sadly had her life taken from her, and her name is Johanna Young. Joanna Young, she went out and her parents thought she was with her boyfriend. So they went to bed that night and got up the following morning and she still wasn't home. And that led to a big police investigation and her remains being discovered a few days later. Anyway, this weather is absolutely awful. I'm going to spin you around, have a wander around the churchyard as best I can and hope this rain doesn't ruin my camera, while I'll tell you a little bit about Johanna Young.
Joanna Claire Young was born in 1978 to parents Carol and Robert Young. She was raised in the village of Watton in the Breckland borough of Norfolk, England, along with her brother Daniel and her sister Emma. She attended Wayland High School where she was very popular and achieved good marks. On Wednesday the 23rd of December 1992, 14-year-old Joanna left the family home at around 7:30 p.m. Watton is a very quiet rural place where nothing much happens throughout the winter months. Despite it being an extremely foggy winter evening, Joanna was seen several times by the village locals between 7:30 and 8:45 p.m. She was last seen outside the local fish and chip shop at around 8:30 p.m. When she did not return home that evening, her parents assumed she was with her boyfriend, Ryan, who was 3 years Joanna's senior, and that she would return home soon enough. When they went to bed, Joanna still hadn't returned home. What her parents were unaware of was that 2 days previously, Ryan had told Joanna that he wished to end their relationship. The following morning, they were awoken by Joanna's alarm clock going off constantly without being switched off. When Robert entered her bedroom, he realised that she had not returned home at all. She always set her alarm so she could head out to do her paper round, but her newspaper bag was still hanging on the door. Carol and Robert Young contacted the police and reported Joanna missing. 3 days later, on the 26th of December 1992, Joanna's partially clothed body was discovered by a dog walker lying face down in a waterlogged pit less than a mile from her home in Watton. When she was found, she was naked from the waist down, covered in scratches, and was determined to have died from drowning and a fractured skull. The police said that there was no evidence of a sexual motive, yet later reports stated that she had been sexually assaulted. Joanna's underwear and other items of clothing were found at the scene, but the police said that when they found her body, her blue denim jeans were missing. Police appealed for anyone that might have found them or knew where they were to come forward. However, her jeans later reappeared close to the scene of the crime on the 19th of January 1993, thrown into a bush around 4 weeks after the body was found. They had been washed and there was no DNA on them. It was also noted that there was no sign of a struggle and that as such it was thought that her clothes had been removed after she was rendered unconscious. Her shoes were found on the evening before the discovery of her body. They had been placed neatly by a hedge on Garston Road, a short distance from the crime scene. It was thought that one possible explanation was that someone found her shoes elsewhere, had picked them up and examined them before placing them down where they were later discovered. Forensic analysis of the scene indicated that 2 people were probably involved in her murder. The police said that they found drag marks on Joanna's back, which matched drag marks near to the pit where she would eventually be discovered. The way she was dragged seemed to indicate that one person had a hold of her top half, with another person holding her feet. Evidence given at her inquest also suggested that Joanna might have been killed accidentally. She could have received her head injury in a fall which left her unconscious, and that the person or persons she was with may have dragged her to the water-filled pit where she then drowned. It was reported that the police investigation targeted local men, and it was said that the solution to solving the case lay in the local community. It was also reported that the police thought that her murderer might have been a pupil at Joanna Young's school. After her murder, the police received a cryptic letter that had the words Griston Road, Watton, 23:12, 9 p.m, followed by a drawing of a motorcycle, a youth and a girl. The police added that a young man with a motorcycle had been seen in the area on the night Joanna was last seen. There was also a sighting of a man in a silver van arguing with a young woman not far from where Joanna's body would later be found. The Eastern Daily Press published 4 key questions to help solve the case in an article published on the 17th of November 2018. They were: 1. Where did Joanna go after she was last seen alive by a friend at Watton High Street at 8:30 p.m. on the 12th of December 1992? 2. Who placed Joanna's trainers neatly alongside a hedge on Griston Road? 3. Who was the second person who helped move Joanna's body to the pit? 4. Where were Joanna's jeans between her death and 4 weeks later when they were found near the crime scene? Unfortunately, these questions still remain unanswered as nobody has been charged or convicted of this crime at the time of making this video. Joanna Claire Young was laid to rest at St Mary's Churchyard in Watton, Norfolk, which is where we are today.
Oh, well, that's the sad story of Johanna Young. I've had to dive under a tree because this rain is terrible. But yeah, after her body was recovered, the pathologist actually said that she had a very thin, an unnaturally thin skull. So it could have been that she just fell. Now, if she had have just fallen, how do they explain the fact that she didn't have her jeans on? How do they explain the fact that her jeans were taken from the scene, washed, and then returned to the scene? Doesn't explain anything to me. I mean, I don't know who did this. Unfortunately, it's another unsolved one. And I have no idea who could have done this. I mean, could it have been another kid from her school or a couple of kids from her school? It is possible. Anyway, her final resting place is just along this row here to my left, so I'll spin you around and we'll go and have a look at it together. Right, it is actually along this row here somewhere. I came out with my phone earlier and took a photograph of a headstone. I can't remember where it was now. I was more concerned with getting out of the rain because it was absolutely pouring it down then. It's still drizzly now. Yes, Moggy, it is that time of year. Here it is. It's this one just in front of us now. And here it is, and it's got a photograph of her on there as well. In loving memory of Joanna Claire Young, tragically taken from us 23rd of December 1992, aged 14 years. Gone from us, but never forgotten by all family and friends. But that is the final resting place of Joanna Claire Young. Well, that was another gloomy story from a gloomy cemetery. I'm not sure I really like doing these murder. I'm fascinated by the murder ones, but I don't really like going to the actual graves. But I suppose you have to finalise the story. Anyway, that's me, Darren, from St Mary's Church in Watton in Norfolk. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to leave me a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, then maybe consider subscribing, and if you do subscribe, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you will be notified every time I upload a new video. Right, it's time to get out of this rain. I will see you on the next one, so bye bye for now.